The flag flies high and true, bold, red, white, and blue. My heart beats with the tune, for my country strong and new.
Good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing today? This is the first episode of American Grayscale. All right, we're going to break down some news for you guys, and then I'm going to put in a few of my opinions. Basically, I'm going to try to be as unbiased as possible, but we all know how that is. I'm independent, but I tend to sway at least one direction or the other. I have a lot of liberal values, but at the same time, I just vote for whatever I think is going to be the best fit for the country at the moment. Um, and sometimes I do have a lot of right wing tendencies as well. To tell you the truth, in my opinion, a lot of politics have swayed so much to the left that the right seems like it's still right wing, but it very conservative. But it really isn't. I mean, a lot of the values that you see today in the right wing party is a lot of what liberals would have had in like the '90s, maybe even '80s. Like it's gone so far left that I feel like the right wing is now moderate to left leaning. Um, now, before I get too far into all that, I mean, there is still conservative values that I still think is pretty far right. But that's how the progression of the country goes. Um, because I mean, that's how it's always been since the beginning of time. There's as far as we understand and start understanding other people's feelings and stuff, it seems like it slowly progresses to the left. Now, just that doesn't mean that everything to the left is good, because I mean, in my opinion, there's so many different ways to categorize left versus right. I don't think it's possible to even come close to getting an accurate description that everybody falls under. Like when I mean everybody, I mean like everybody on the right, everybody on the left, even in the gray areas, because you can still like, for example, one of the ways to determine what right wing versus left wing means is the further right you go, the more anarchy you are. The further left you are, the more government you have. That's what it's. That's what some people like to claim it is. I like to look at it that way, but it isn't the case. I mean, you get authoritarians on either side. You get fascists, dictators, and stuff like that. Um, in my opinion, uh, if you the further left you go, the more authoritarian you get, and if you can have some right wingers that mix some of that ideology in there, because in my personal opinion, I think that's how the right versus the left should be looked at. However, you can't really. At the same time, I know it's kind of a cop out to kind of say all that, um, but yeah, so I always try to view it as right wing, less government, left wing, more government, because that's usually how it categorizes. To be honest, I mean, you got to be careful of those fascists, though. um, with that being said, we're going to try to be as unbiased as we can. I know that's very impossible, but that kind of gives you an idea of where I stand. Now, that doesn't mean that everything in this podcast is going to go my certain direction, because I'm going to have some shows where I'm going to be completely unbiased and I'm just going to ask grilling questions to each individual that I meet. I'm going to call that one. I'm thinking about calling that. Uh, I can't remember, but we'll get back to that some other time. We'll go out on the streets and ask people what they think, man on the street, and we'll do some of that in the future. Anyways, let's get to some of the juicy details. Um, so I haven't read all of this tweet, so please take it with a grain of salt. What I'm showing you here, I haven't really read too much of it. I just read a little bit of the beginning, um, and it really, I, I totally agreed pretty quickly. But at the same time, eh, this is I I have my opinions on what's going on. So just because I agree with it one way does not mean that I completely agree with everything on it. So Hunter Biden basically. We found out that he's taken a guilty plea and he started like basically grieving, and he was like very apologetic, and I feel really bad for the guy, because I mean, there's a lot of crap that people do, and I don't think that they should get so much hate for it. um I always hope that whenever these politicians get out of office and they start going to their own life, they start uh people start appreciating them more, and they're not as hated. Because it always saddens me to see politics just tear everybody apart. It's corruption, greed, all that kind of stuff. Um, but people are people. They have problems, and I don't think any kind of prison or anything like that is going to do anybody any better. Um, except for those that want to go there for whatever reason. I mean, I get it. They lived their whole life, and that's just their lifestyle at this point. Personally, I want to try to get that away from them, but I think that's impossible at a certain degree, because, um, I mean, there's no good solution. So of course, I'm gonna want people put in prison. I'm gonna want people to put in jail, just not as harsh and hardcore as other people think. Um, Now, this doesn't mean that I'm a Biden supporter. It doesn't mean I agree with Hunter Biden's actions. I think that he kind of deserves it, but at the same time, I hope it's a very lenient punishment, because I hate to see people go away to prison, solitary. I hate all that kind of stuff. It's This lawfare is going nuts. It's getting crazy. It should not be happening. Hunter Biden wouldn't be getting this, just like Trump shouldn't be getting what he's getting. Trump is If we want to put this, and this does not justify Hunter's actions, it does not justify sending Hunter to prison or anything like that. But Trump is getting the brunt of it. Trump has gotten it ever since 2016. Before 2016, dude, the guy, everybody loved him. It makes no sense that after he started running for I mean, Oprah Winfrey was gonna wanted to be his running mate. I mean, come on. Go ahead and fact check me all you want. I don't care. I usually would do fact checks in real time. I'm gonna have to probably get somebody else on here to be able to do that. But as of now, since this is the first episode, we're just gonna go ahead and wing it. So, anyways, let's go ahead to our second one. Um, Now, take this one with a grain of salt. This is a world news. Um, I've never heard of this, but I found it on ground news, and it makes me feel like it is pretty legitimate. This was the most highly factual article that I found on ground news. So we're going to go ahead and briefly scroll through this. But basically, what Nate Silver's predictions is that Trump has a pretty high chance of beating Kamala Harris. Now, here's something that you got to understand about these polls is a lot of people just skim the surface and they just see the national popular vote, and they see let's see if I can bring it up real quick. 1 minute here. um I'm sorry, I should have had this prepared, but I didn't really think about it until the last minute. um we will I personally like to look at 270, what is it called? 270 to win. That gives you a really good idea of what um, how to break down polls a lot easier than anything else. There's all kinds of pollsters and stuff like that out there, but personally, I like 270 to win. This kind of gives you a good breakdown. So everybody focuses on this number. This is not legitimate. This is just saying what the popular vote is. Everybody that's anybody knows how that looking at the popular vote and seeing that means absolutely not shit. Um, Democrats have had the popular vote for a long time. This is why we are considered a republic. Now, with that being said, a lot of people call it an oligarchy. Um, and a lot of people say we don't live in a democracy, et cetera, et cetera. If you live in a republic, you are living in a democracy. That's, in my opinion, that's the only way to go to keep a democracy. And in my opinion, whenever you're looking at how America has transitioned over like the 200 years, um, you'll notice it's going back, like into more authority. I mean, when you look at it, you got the DOJ. That was supposed to be the authority, but now we have the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the HSI. You have all DHS. You have all this stuff. Um, and originally, agents weren't like these kind of federal agencies weren't supposed to exist for so long. They were supposed to cut it off, but ever since like the Cold War and probably even before that, we've been making more and more entities that just haven't faded. We haven't closed the doors on them because we were too scared of the Russians. Russian collusion, Russian collusion, Russian collusion. What do you know? We've been screaming this for decades now, and it's becoming more and more prominent. But we will get to that here later. Let's break this down. Basically, this is the the national um, poll here. So if you look at it, Harris is dominating that. That's typical. It's not anything to really be worried about if you're a Republican at all. Um, Especially since it's still within the margin of error, just barely, actually a little above it. Harris is a little above it, but I won't be surprised if that changes very soon, especially after the debate. Whether it goes up for Harris or down, I don't know. But in my opinion, I think we're going to see Trump's numbers go up. That's because, Harris is still a fresh candidate. Because they just kind of threw her in at the last minute. So of course you got the honeymoon phase. Now I don't want to sound like broken record that all these Republican branches are talking about, saying that she's in her honeymoon phase or whatever. I mean, I'll be honest. I've talked to a lot of left wingers. I talked to a lot of right wingers. I focus on a lot of independents. I tried to get a lot of my sources from independent um, people or libertarians or etc. Um, so it like there's I do agree with a lot of the right wingers mentality right now. I think the reason why they're more factual is because they have less of the control, and telling the truth barely gets them anywhere. So every time they tell the truth, they're labeled a conspiracy theorist, and then they get smashed. So because I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about this, but anyways, so as you can see here, it looks like it was really strongly going into Kamala Harris's favor, and now it's just teetering back and forth. As far as Trump's numbers going up and down, up and down, up and down. It's not like it's going between Kamala Harris and Trump yet. We may never see that, but we saw it definitely with Biden. Trump was ahead. So if we take what really matters, Florida, Trump's got Florida. It's getting close to the margin of error, but Trump's got Florida, Trump's got Ohio. That's pretty much a red state now. You got Texas here that's starting to get closer and closer to a swing state. Still not a swing state. They lost that a while back. Uh, and we got Arizona, which is getting really close to a swing state as well. I mean, it is a swing state, but like it's definitely within the margin of error. Um, but this one is starting to get closer to Kamala Harris right now. So that you can take that as you will. If we open up the polls here, it looks like it's just kind of teetering back and forth in Trump's favor. But but yeah, I think he's going to hold on to Arizona. There's a chance that that might not happen. Uh, if we look at let's say Georgia here, I think this is going to go Trump as well. If you look at the numbers here, I mean, it's going to be close. It's going to be really close, but I still think it's going to be Trump in Georgia. Michigan, I think it might go to Harris. Some people are saying that it's going to go to Trump, but I think it might end up going to Harris. Um, take that with a grain of salt. I'm probably going to end up being wrong. Nevada is an interesting one that was in Trump's hands, but then Kamala Harris became the candidate, and so now it's going back and forth between them. Um, so this is what matters, guys. It's not about the national vote or anything. Um, if, for instance, this one is the most popular one right now, it's Pennsylvania. This one, if whoever wins this one is probably going to end up winning the presidency, because Michigan and Wisconsin are probably going to go to Harris. Let's be honest here. The Wisconsin and Michigan are probably going to go to Harris. Some people think Michigan's going to go to Trump, but I seriously think it's going to go to Harris. So Pennsylvania is a must-have for Donald Trump. If he loses that, it's probably game over. But if he wins that, it's game over for Kamala. So we'll see how that works. Pennsylvania is a crucial state right now. But any other than that, I don't think really anything's gonna really anything else is gonna be a deal breaker unless some weird wild card happens. So there's that. Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. All right, we're saving that one. So that's why I mean, I saw a couple of things. Benny Johnson, take his with a grain of salt. Really? Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing about Benny Johnson. He's a really funny guy. He is really he really does put his opinion on it. He really puts it in a spin. But here's the interesting thing about Benny Johnson. He is like the first to go on something. Like if there's something to report, he's going to report it. But take his information with a grain of salt because he puts a spin on it. That's for sure. So here's where you got to understand he's looking at the electoral probability here. So it's saying now I don't know how accurate this picture is. I don't know where he got the picture from. It probably says here somewhere, and I'm just not seeing it. I really don't care. But it kind of gives you an interesting scoop. Somebody says that it's BS, but I have a feeling this is either. I don't know what this one is either, but here's something interesting that I saw is Benny Johnson is a Russian accent. Shut the hell up, guys. Get over that, man. And I did look at Nate Silver's site. I don't think I saw this. Uh, I'm not sure where he pulled this from. I don't know. I don't really care. It's just a dude. He's trying to predict the election. It's you gotta take it with a grain of salt, guys. All right. So this one is an interesting thing. Again, I'm not reading the article. I don't care. I'm just reading the headliners just because it's what's popular right now. Um, in the future, I will try to read all the articles that I'm gonna put here. But I'm just gonna put my scoop in it, and then you guys can read the article. Whatever. It's the latest thing. It is what it is. Um, but here's my opinion on this whole TikTok thing. So again, I'm gonna have to do more research on this, and I will talk about it later, more than likely, if there's anything in here that I'm missing. But yeah, Trump really wants to save TikTok, and it's really interesting because before he said he didn't want anything to do with TikTok because basically it's the PRC, the CCP, they have control of TikTok, which I'm honestly not completely. Um, I I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. Sure, it comes out of Singapore, and but there's a lot of conflict of interest there. There's like I don't want to get into the nitty gritty because I'm gonna miss something. I'm gonna say something wrong, but basically, there's a lot of conflict of interest there. Um, and there's a lot of affiliation with China with this product. So they try to claim that it's separate. It goes to different places. They don't have access to it. But I don't know. I can't trust it. But with that being said, you can't prevent it forever. I mean, AI is coming out. It's coming out quick, and eventually, it's just gonna, anybody can get access to anything. They're going to try to keep out. Maybe it's easier to program AI to keep things out. That might be possible. It might be easier to keep things out than it is to force your way in. So we will see what happens there. I think that AI will probably actually be really beneficial in that regard. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I trust that he's not gonna do anything crazy, and this is a all right idea. I mean, I personally feel like this is more of trying to get young voters um that are kind of naive about how technology works. Um Again, you can't prevent it forever, so maybe I shouldn't really be too critical on that. But yeah, so it is what it is. That's what's going on. Um so let's see here. Oh God. Let's let it load. Oh boy. Okay. Well, we're waiting for that. Um, so basically, I try to get all these articles. I try to get the most highly factual ones. I again use ground news to get them all. And yes, okay, it's up. So take this with a grain of salt. I don't know this news agency. um, this is what we got for you. So I'm not a very religious person. Um, I don't care. Every time I see this stuff, I don't care. And really, honestly, uh, the only people this attracts are the people that are already going to vote for him. It's just like, like whenever you see white dudes for Harris, whenever you see, black people for Harris, whatever, you know, people of color, whatever you want to say. It's every time you see these movements, it's just identity politics. I mean, it's a buzzword, I know, but like it's seriously identity politics. Like if it doesn't matter who the hell you are, seriously, like who cares? Catholics, blacks, Hispanics, whites. Like what, seriously, guys, this identity politics is going too much, man. It's too much. Just calm the hell down. Just tell them what. Now, it's one thing whenever you hear the politician saying, I'm for Catholics or whatever, but why do we have to make these organizations and stuff? Like, I don't know. Maybe there is something out of it that I'm missing. That's very possible. It really is. So, yeah. So, let's move right on. More world news here. Oh shit. Hang on. Let's see if I can translate that to English. There we go. So this is world news again. So basically, what's going on here? Um, London is supplying Ukraine with missiles. So it is what it is. I don't really have a whole lot to say on this. Um, I'm back and forth about this whole situation. Um, I think that, sometimes I'm like, dude, we should be blasting Putin out of there, man. But at the same time, that's gonna cause. Think about this. So there's there's at least three or four different ways you can look at this. Um, with whenever we're talking about Putin, um, everybody wants to say he's tyrannical, he's a lunatic, he's crazy, he's off the hinge. You know, he's always got his finger on the nuclear button, not as much as Kim Jong Un. You know, but they're like, oh, he's gonna just blow up and take over everything. It's like, okay, listen, guys, if that's what he's gonna do, there's no way to win. It's impossible to win. If he's as crazy as people want to say he is, it is impossible for to win. You get close enough to annihilating his country, he's going to use the nukes. If if um if you just let him take over everything, he's going to take over everything. It's impossible. There's no, and with nukes, it's impossible. I don't see any way out of this except if we have some kind of anti-nuclear weapon, which is possible that somebody has, but really, I mean, look at all the crap that happened. And maybe our government just purposely tries to lay dormant, and they actually have ways to stop all this stuff from happening. And 9/11 was a freak show and stuff like that. They knew it wasn't going to be ending America, so they just didn't really care enough to stop it. That is terrible. That sounds terrible, especially with 9/11 coming up here. But I feel like they have more power. I mean, maybe that's just what we want to believe. Um, I really think they did drop the ball, but at the same time, there's another side of me just wants to stay optimistic and be like, it's weird to say you want to stay optimistic whenever they dropped the ball on that shit and thousands of people died. But like, don't you want to stay optimistic and at least think that we can stop a nuclear weapon? Oh man. Another way to stay optimistic is maybe Putin's nukes don't work. Maybe they're fake. I don't know if we got a way of finding out if they're actual nuclear weapons or not. But what if he doesn't have any nukes and they're all bogus? Because think about it. He has nuclear weapons, tactical nuclear weapons at the border of Russia. Um, and and he has not used them, and he's made over 34 threats. Guys, he's probably actually he had to have made more by now. Like last I checked, it was 34, 36, or something like that. 30, 30 plus 35 plus nuclear threats. And the dude hasn't done anything. I don't think I don't know. It's hard to read the guy, but I'm still afraid of pushing too hard on him because he keeps and he when he sent that thing out saying what the absolute when he will start nuclear war, it made me a little more comfortable and made me start thinking, okay, so we haven't pushed too far. But at the same time, now he's limiting it and saying, look, we're going to start it even earlier than that instead. Because ever since Ukraine pushed into Russia. So I don't know, guys. This is really I don't think so. Do you think he's that big of a unhinged guy? He's gonna do it. start the nuclear war. He doesn't care. We're the ones pushing him to do it even harder. Not saying that we should just relinquish things, but think about it. Should we take him for his word and say, you know what? Let's make a deal and stop this and stop letting people die. Um, or do we just keep pushing? Dude, I don't see how this is going to end well. I just don't. So, anyways, let's go on. Oh boy. Again, it's not exactly what this reads, but they found a Chinese spy in New York. Um, I don't know the names. I forget. It's the New York governor, whatever her name is. Her chief of staff was a Chinese spy. So who knows who all they've been hiring in their government as freaking Chinese spies, man. Maybe even other kinds of spies. I don't know. If you want to read this article, go right for it. Um, boy, it's from CNN. Uh, so it is what it is. It's longer than I thought, but I don't know. It basically this dude, he's gonna continue his operations in New York. The New York envoy. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion, man. Um, so morning show. I actually watched this. I was watching Louder with Crowder. I haven't watched him in a last time. But basically, this happened right about the same time. Well, Morning Joe and some other shit happened, and basically CNN didn't want to give two shits about what Donald Trump was saying at uh, pro Trump my butt, dude. I actually didn't read that. I was thinking it was something else. Um, dude, what in the hell? Okay, well, maybe I should have done a little more research on that one, but that's crazy, dude. The media is definitely not pro Trump at all. At all. In fact, I wouldn't even say that the majority of the media is pro Kamala Harris either. With that being said, um, I think that they're definitely way like not even close. They're way more in support of Kamala Harris than Trump. Like it's not even a question. Like, dude, when she got the candidacy, like all these people brown nosed the hell out of her. I don't even know. Like it was mind blowing to me. Like when I know some people literally the day before said we're screwed if it's Kamala. Like Democrats are screwed if it's Kamala Harris. I hate Kamala Harris. It better not be Kamala Harris. And then they started naming other people in the Democratic Party that said, I hope it's this person. I hope it's this person. Nobody was saying Kamala Harris. And then all of a sudden, literally the next day, these people that I talk to that I know personally, like so many of them, they went from hating her to literally the next day they were like, actually, her policies are really good. And I'm like, what? My mind is still boggled from that. I can't believe of what I heard. It made no sense to me. Completely baffling. It didn't make any sense to me, and it never will because that was just mind blowing when that happened. And these guys are saying that the media is pro Trump. That is sad. All right, let's see what else we got on our list. Oh yes, the warmest. Yep, humanity has measured. So here's the thing about it. I don't really get into climate change that often. I think it should be a concern. Um, However, I think that um, first of all, we've only been measuring uh, these temperatures for I don't even remember how long, but it hasn't. We've been putting it on the scale for a short amount of time, and it could be anywhere. I think that it's getting warmer for sure, but I don't think there's any way to really stop it. And that shouldn't be a Debbie Downer because realistically, what I've been hearing is even in like some of the worst case scenarios, we're only getting a few inches of uh, water that's going to be rising. Now, that can be catastrophic, but this is the dumb part. Why the frick aren't the cities moving inward, building walls higher, and, and stuff like that to keep the water out? Maybe it's pretty expensive. I don't know. I haven't looked at the data on this, but I mean, that should be number one. That should be number one. We should be freaking pushing everybody to be doing this. Maybe we are doing this and I don't know about it, but building walls higher and moving more inland and just keeping the water out. That's like, it's not terrible whenever you think about it like that. Um, but then you could be looking at just massive flooding all the time because of rain and stuff like that. But it's hard to say. I don't think anybody's got the right solution because even whenever you're talking about getting all electric cars, um, even if we went nuclear or whatever, like even if we did find a renewable resource that wasn't harmful to the earth at all, I still think it would still be going that direction. It might slow it down, but it's still going to go to that direction. So that is what it is. All right. Evidence in J6 case against Trump could be released before election under new schedule. That means absolutely nothing. Let me put it this way, guys. Let me put it this way. I don't know. People just want to stay ignorant. That's what they want. I've tried so hard telling people, look, I'm going to give you a hint. I'm not going to tell you what to think. I'm going to tell you how to think. Well, we're going to go to Rumble, guys. Now, I know what you're thinking. Rumble, it's right wing. Oh my God. You can't trust right wingers. Listen, sure, there's a lot of far right wingers on here, just as there is on X. But that's because they're censored on everything else. Guys, let me break this down for you. Not only does this have right wingers on it, it has evidence. Like, whether or not you like it has evidence. Like, even, even, like, I'm not saying go listen to Alex Jones. I'm not telling you to listen to Fox News. I'm not telling you to go listen to Steven Crowder. I personally, in my opinion, I think you should listen to as many sources as possible. Try to get your information from anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. Don't get it from that one person. The further crazier you go to the right, the further crazier you should also listen to the left. So, in other words, you listen to a far right winger, you better be listening to a far left winger. Personally, I try to keep it as in the middle as possible. Sometimes I might dabble outside of that. But if you stay secluded and kept in your own bubble, in your own echo chamber, you're going to miss a lot of crucial things. Now, take this with a grain of salt. This is what I want people to do. You don't even have to look up this specific thing. But look up a true timeline. J6, a true timeline. Look, watch the video. 1 hour and 6 minutes. This is all surveillance video. That will show you every angle possible. This shows body cam footage. This shows surveillance footage. This is thousands of hours worth of surveillance video footage that nobody's ever seen outside of this, other than, of course, the original videos. Because CNN is not going to air it. Not even Fox News won't even air it. What they do, what Fox News does, is they take these stupid clips of like inside of the Capitol, and just where they're all chilly walking around. Dude, show the whole damn thing. Take this video and show, because what they did a great job on this video. I think it's still a little bit biased, but they did a really good job on placing you there, on what was going on, what was happening. They show you every angle. They show you rally cams. They show you even people's phone cameras. Like, they got shots of like Ray Epps. They even have what's her name? Ashley Babbitt. They have a phone that was recording her getting shot in this video. They have everything. Like, they don't miss a single thing in this. Well, okay, I take that back. They do miss a few things, but you're gonna miss some things. Like I don't know exactly what happened with the police officer. They don't mention the police officer that passed away, because I get it. He had a heart attack and he died later. So he didn't actually die that day, but I'm pretty sure they showed some civilians that died by a heart attack the same exact way. So I feel like it's a little bit skewed. But with that being said, this shows you a completely different side that Fox News won't even show. So it really puts you there. And maybe it's skewed, but like maybe it kind of, I don't think it really is, in the concept that a lot of people on the left wing think it is. But just watch it and you'll know. You'll know what's skewed and what's not. And very little, I think, is skewed out of that video. Anyways, so what I'm trying to say is, in my opinion, I think they're painting Donald Trump as if he's like some mastermind that did that. I don't think he was. I think he was just saying. Now, here's where I think the gray area is I don't think he meant for people to riot. Maybe deep down he does. I don't know. Maybe he does want some kind of crazy thing, but you gotta understand it. Before they went to the Capitol, he said peacefully. He said with your words. He did not want to violence at all. At least that's what he says. You can use your own critical thinking from there on out. I don't want to tell you what to think, just how to think. So, and man, every time I hear these people talk about the J6, it is excruciating. Because there's so much wrong. They suppressed so much information. They suppressed so many witnesses. They suppressed so many testimonies. They don't let you listen to shit. It's bad. It's really bad. Just go there and look for yourself. Now, here's another thing to keep in mind. just because they're covering that stuff up, and they're fucking criminals for doing it, just because they're covering that stuff up, does not mean they are bad intentioned in another light, like making policies and stuff like that. I believe that the plethora of government is corrupt and is not looking out for you. But I think there's a lot of good fighters on both sides, on all sides. They just don't know. Just not everybody has the right idea. And I think it's a mixture of ideas. So let's keep it moving. American Wire, Dan Bongino. This guy's pretty cool. Now, I didn't read too much into this because here's something that you got to understand. I watched a lot of these videos. I know a fair amount about all this, but nobody knows enough. Somebody does, but nobody publicly knows enough. I want you guys to speculate whatever with this because until this gets solved, dude, everybody should be looking for this. Guys, this isn't hard. This really isn't hard. Why is there not more people on the left talk? This should be the marquee for the left wing. Why isn't the left wing saying, "Where is the bomber?" Guys, what the frick, man? Why isn't the left way more outraged about this? But I don't have words for this because, like, we still don't know about the pipe bombs. Maybe they were fake pipe bombs, but I don't give a shit because that still means something. It's not rocket science, guys. We got to know who that was. You know, that's not cool. Like, even if they are fake pipe bombs, it still means something. Whatever, guys. I mean, maybe not. I mean, they probably shouldn't be arrested if they're not real pipe bombs, but still. Why wouldn't we know this if it was? Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is a go figure right here. She has to. She has to go center. There's no way she wins without going center in financial stuff. After what she said about price control and everything, there is nothing like she won't win by going off of price control, and I cannot wait to see the debate, guys. I'm so excited to see the debate. When is the debate anyways? It looks like it's gonna be on Tuesday. Ah, jeez. Why does it have to be on a Tuesday? I gotta work at that night. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. I am very excited to kick this off, and I want to see how it goes. I want to see what you guys think. But thank you very much for tuning in. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Of the land we know sticks together like glue. We stand proud, red, white, and blue. If you question the way we wave, you're not a patriot, so brave.